I go to pick my grandkids up to take them to school, and I have to take a pickup because there's not any room. That's bad.
Yes.
All right, welcome, gentlemen. This is the second half, the recessed session of our January 27th meeting. So, first things first.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to get it in the minutes that we support your request to hire a officer and a transportation
Yes.
officer. You've demonstrated the need, you've shown us, and we've seen the budget. That shows that you have the money to pay for it.
Okay.
Anything from the board, any questions?
No,
from
I
the
agree. Nick has done a wonderful job over there. When I thought we were gonna lose it, you turned it around.
Well,
And
thank you.
I just have to say kudos to you because, and your staff, you
Yeah.
know. I wasn't so sure where it was going.
Yeah, it was stressful, that's for sure.
It was very stressful for a lot of us, you
Yeah.
know? And
For sure.
I think you've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
And now there's extra money in that budget, which is wonderful.
Unheard of.
It's unheard of, is right. But keep it up.
Thank you very much. And I really do appreciate the commission, you know, so eagerly to work with us. You know, without a working team, it doesn't go anywhere, so I appreciate the commission as well.
Well, you know, we're kind of like a milking stool and 3 legs.
Yeah.
And you kick one leg out and see what happens.
Exactly, yep. So, no, I really do appreciate it.
Okay, you're on a motion?
I'd love one.
I would make a motion that we give Nick authority, it is in his budget, to hire another person. Is that right?
A full-time detention and a full-time transport officer.
Yep, that too.
We have a second?
I would second it, only I'd like to add to it that this transportation officer can handle detention.
Yes.
And better yet, if he could also help out as a officer.
Yep, and honestly, the person I have in staff, I've already talked to this individual about it. Right now, it's Sergeant Kynette, and he's more than excited to take over the transport aspect of it. And he is already certified in everything. So it's one of those things that he can not only do the transport, but he'll help pick up that slack when we send people to training or vacations, which will also keep the overtime and stuff up. So it does encompass that as well.
And I think you got a good pick there. I worked with Donnie's for 25 years.
Yeah,
So I know.
and he knows every facility and everybody that, I mean, he tries to do most of the transport as it stands right now, but it's just with what I require him to do as the detention sergeant, it doesn't really work doing transport all the time, and that's sort of where we spent a lot of money, was having regular officers and other people doing those transports, or at this, moving him right over to,
Can I do a timeout
You
really
bet.
quick? I appreciate what you're saying. I just want to cautious us all on this line of discussion.
oh, sure.
The position still needs to be advertised. It
Okay.
can be advertised in-house.
Oh,
Of course,
okay.
you haven't made a decision yet.
Right,
You have talked to an individual who might be interested.
sure.
Might very well be interested.
Okay.
But of course, you haven't made a decision yet.
I
We'll
see what
follow
you're
the
saying.
process.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
think
So,
I think it's up to Nick anyway to make the decision, so it doesn't matter. what he's
no, I
talking
agree, but you're right, I just don't wanna be in fault of, not following our county policy, so we stick by it.
I don't
so-
believe you are. You're doing good.
So, but no, we do really appreciate, it's very much needed, and I do appreciate you guys allowing me to do that.
Absolutely. So it's been moved and seconded to support your,
Thank you, ma'am.
your request for 2 full-time FTEs. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
So then I guess that was that. And then the second part was, for Jerry, correct?
Right,
Okay.
and whatever you guys, putting your brains together can come up with.
So this is sort of, Mike and I met, and we got some numbers from Debbie. For the rest of this fiscal year, we're looking at around $8,709.80 to bring Jerry where he needs to be.
Will you say that number again?
Sure, $8,709.80. That includes is bringing him up to 35 hours, insurance, and everything. So us thinking of where we're at, and Madam Chair, last meeting you brought up that 40,000 that hasn't been utilized, 10 of it goes to our policy and procedures. The 30,000 is set up for the quick chill, if we decide to go that route. I did meet with the hospital last week, and they're gonna put some numbers together and try to really work with us so they can keep that contract. Even if we were, and the only way I could think about a ways to, rather than splitting that in half and trying to figure out where the 4,354.90 would come from both giving, is by the time we're ready to even go to quick chill, that's another fiscal year. So what my thoughts were in talking with Mike is, if we took that 8,709.80 out of that detention center contracted services, that would leave me roughly $20,000 left to put towards the quick chill. But again, that's the next. Chances are it's going to be the next fiscal year by time the parking lot, the pavement, and everything's done. I don't see us, especially, we were talking today, their plan is to move the big tank off the property. So that's gonna delay us, the whole process even a month longer, from what, Mike and I were discussing. I don't have a problem doing that. Like I told Mike, they spend 55, if not more, % of the time over in our facility. Is that gonna change? Probably not. My only concern then is next fiscal year. What are we gonna do in the next fiscal year? This fiscal year, I don't have a problem helping out because he's helping me. We're, like we discussed earlier, we're a team. The only way to get things done is to help one another out. My concern then would be next year, when it's a whole year worth of wages and insurance, that is a need. I mean, we can't take away that it's not a need. What are we gonna do? This year, I can foresee it, I think we can do it, taking out of that contracted service out of my line item. I don't have a problem doing that whatsoever. But then next year, whether it's 50-50, out of each budget, I'll take 50% and he needs 50% added to his budget, 60-40, whatever it is. I think we need to think about that next year's fiscal year to plan that, because it is a needed position. And it give them a good idea of if 35 hours is too much, is 32 hours perfect, whatever. It gives us 5 months to plan and foresee what's going on, especially him coming up to his busy time of the year with spring coming, and then also all the the laundry list of jobs he mentioned in the last meeting. And give us a good idea of where we sit. So that being said, the only way I could even think about where to take him out of would be that line item on a contracted services. It would deplete me down to about $20,000 if we decided to go with quick chill. And I've not received an updated quote from the prison yet. I'm still waiting on that. I did talk to him on Thursday to get us exactly where they stand and everything. So I'm still waiting on that. Other than that, we put our heads together, and honestly, that's the only area that we can think of to meet the need right now.
Okay, contracted services, what did you have that in there for? Something specific or whatever?
The 40,000, 10 of that was for our new policy and procedures, because
Right.
that was something that I foresaw us needing. That was sort of a pre-plan. Then it was also set aside for the quick chill.
Okay.
30,000 of that was set aside for Quick Chip. Just because I don't mind coming and chatting with you guys. I just hate coming over here always with my hand out. So the point of putting that money aside in my budget was, if worse came to worse and the hospital said, you know what, this isn't working for us, it's not working for you, we're done. Then I needed a contingency plan, and that was sort of my contingency plan. Or if the board said, look, we just $200,000 a year is a lot of money to spend on meals, and we need to do something else, then that was my contingency plan. So that was the purpose of that money, was to forethink and not be caught, so to speak, with our pants down. Not to be crude, but just to have some forward thinking.
And that's what it costs, is about 200 grand a year for food?
This year, well, unfortunately this year, because today, as of right now, I checked this morning when Mike was over, we have 41 inmates. So averaging that number, yes, unfortunately that's what it's gonna, you're looking around 200 to 250, maybe even close to 300,000 if we average those numbers on a regular basis.
It takes money to make money.
Exactly. And that, and that's, you're never gonna get away from, spending money, especially in a business. But I wanted to be responsible in what you guys have asked me to do. One of the requests was to have more inmates. We've nailed that. We're doing very well. And it's like Mike and I were talking about this morning. We can really foresee where we're at. Mike was saying that we probably cost materials.
Yeah. I'm right on track where I thought we'd spend in the first year, probably somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000 that I've been coming out of my budget right now. And I can handle that, I think, so far. It is the propane cost that we talked about. That was completely unforeseen. Hit me kind of off guard, because you look at trends and,
Yeah.
and you throw a different trend in the mix. But we'll talk about that when we come to the end of the year and see where I'm at, see what some of the additional costs that we never knew about. That, you just didn't know. So we'll address that then, I think. We'll see where we're at.
And after we play catch up with having things on stock in case a door breaks or a lock breaks, instead of playing catch up now, we're just doing
Preventative?
preventive maintenance, instead of playing catch up.
And I think my costs are gonna be about half on the materials next year, because there wasn't anything. You go in, I find one part broken, and then it's like, that didn't fix it completely. And then you fix it, and then you have to order and wait 3 weeks for another part, because they're from back east. So now I keep things on stock. So if something breaks, I can go in there and replace it and fix it in a timely manner, not a month.
Right.
Good.
That's what we've been running into.
So really, honestly, sitting down with Mike this morning, because I took half the day off Friday, going over this with him this morning. Honestly, commissioners, Madam Chair, that's really the only area that I can see us fixing this issue right now. Next fiscal year when we meet, we can contemplate whether it's a 60-40, 50-50 type ordeal, and make the proper adjustments then. But to fix our problem, what we have right now, I think that's the only area that I can see us saving money, where we have money that right now is not being utilized. And that's not like I want to use that to keep on putting Band-Aids over issues, but because sooner or later, whatever direction we go, we're going to have some sort of contingency fund there again. So, and not depleting it all the way, 20,000 is a lot better than trying to come up with 30,000. Coming up with 10,000 is a lot easier than 100% of what you need. So that's my suggestion. Mike and I talked about it. I don't see any other way to help, especially with all the projects that we have going on over there.
I understand Civil Liberties was here recently. Is there any big thing that they think we need to correct?
I
That's
have
all
not
they can do.
received, yes, I have not received any laundry lists of what they expect us to fix. We did, the biggest thing that and I did talk with Marwan. Him and I have been talking about, he's been just a godsend because he knows so much about jails and facilities and things like that. They're gonna go after an outdoor rec. It's not capable. We've fixed a lot of that with those windows. They at least get free air now. They get things that that we can't get away from. The only other areas that they might, and I'm just going off of what other agencies are trying to foresee, the windows, letting in more sunlight. I don't see how we can do that and keep this public safe from inmates staring at them out the windows. You know, we're doing with these two walls, there's a lot of, we'll be able to keep them separated like they're supposed to, which is huge. Brings down a lot of the situations, a lot of the problems that we deal with on a regular basis. Right now, I don't foresee any huge issues that we need to address. We addressed the window issue, that was huge. We've addressed some other issues. I think we're okay. So I can't foresee the future, but I've not received any huge, we need to fix this type of thing. And the ACLU and Mako was in that meeting. Jim was in on that meeting. I think it's Jim or Joe. Jim.
Yep.
Was in on that meeting. So he loves our facility. He doesn't see a problem with our facility, and he travels a lot of different facilities. So I don't foresee us. There's nothing we can do. There's no improvements besides the cameras that we've done, the walls that are in the process, the windows that are done. There's nothing that I can foresee them with the exception of them. I don't know how they would expect us to change the windows in the cells for more sunlight. That's the only other thing that I've heard of different agencies having to fix. So it is what it is, and we'll cross that bridge. But I honestly, talking with Jim and Marwan, he did a walkthrough with us here 2 weeks ago, and he thought our facility was quite nice. So that's a good thing for us.
Very good.
So
Thank you.
to answer your question, I don't foresee anything.
Okay.
And any more questions from the board?
Laura, I have a question that
I'm
I've
not
got
taking
to
public
answer.
comment, John.
You're gonna have
No.
to, you're gonna have me arrested to stop
Anything more
me.
from Mike or Nick?
You're gonna have to arrest me to stop me. There is not a
Mike,
certificate
John?
running,
That is enough.
that's enough
There's
from you
no-
too.
There is no public comment at this time.
There is a certificate.
No, there's not,
No.
John. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you don't know
I
what you're
do.
talking about. I just talked to Ben Naff that had it, and he withdrew it, and there's not one
Let's
available.
go. Let's go.
You gonna arrest me?
I am. Let's go.
Well, wait, let me get my stuff.
You don't need your stuff to go to
What?
jail.
Mhm. I guess that's what you want.
Yep, that's exactly what I want.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks.
You know, like I said, we'll have to address, next financial fiscal year when we get there. And this is really the only way I can see us taking care of Mike's needs, my needs, to get the long laundry list of what needs to be accomplished. Working together is the only way we're gonna get it done. And I am understanding that he spends a great majority of time at our facility. Adding Jerry or whomever to this position will allow him not just time to do what we need him at the detention center, but like you said last meeting, everywhere else. you know, so it's one of those things.
Mike has definitely been a win-win for all of
Oh, yeah.
us. I mean, a lot of things that we would have had to hire outside help, he's been able to just do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of things over in your departments, and a lot of things here in our other buildings. So he's been a great godsend to all of us.
I think a lot of things, like your building, nobody knew.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like Friday.
yeah,
Who knew? It's okay, it's no big deal. It's just like I figure some things out.
Well, it's good to keep you challenged too.
It is a good challenge.
I think he's getting to be a toe dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, but no.
You know,
it's-
he never gives us more than we can have.
that's right.
Sometimes he and I don't agree
I
on
know.
that.
So, putting our heads together, that's the only area that we can see to get it done.
All right, well, with no opposition from the commission, I don't think we need to vote on this since
Okay.
it's an agreement between you gentlemen and your budgets.
So, I guess my next question would be is, does he just bill me for that $8,709.80 and then I'll put in a claim out of contracted services? Is that, how do we wanna?
Why don't you wait till the exact, you said it might be less or could be more, so how do you
Yeah,
wanna do it that?
I put it at a maximum of 35 hours. I don't foresee it being every single week 35 hours. I see it being under 35. I'm figuring closer to 32. I just have to figure it out 35. So
That's why I say, do you wanna,
I always like to be covered.
Sure.
I mean, how you wanna bill it? I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanna-
Right.
As it goes along, or?
Well, and it's just
I
one of
don't
those
really
things, I
care,
guess.
just-
Maybe we do it as a monthly basis.
Yeah, you know, and that's whatever, you know, he's gonna have to get paid on a payroll, so whatever claim that is, I don't want him to be waiting on a claim from me to get paid. So, you know, I'd rather, if I do write him, if we do fill out a claim for that grand total and he doesn't use it all, then we can roll that into part of fixing our problem for next fiscal year. You know, it's just, you know, an idea.
This might be a question for payroll
Okay,
to answer. We'll ask Debbie what
Okay.
needs to be done and see what she says. Does that
Perfect.
sound?
I'm okay with that.
Just my biggest concern is we've been pushing the limit on insurance. And I
Right.
just didn't want to continue doing this and then have the union board come back and say you guys have pushed the limit too far and then have a fine and everything else. So I think this is a good thing, at least we're covering ourselves on that aspect.
Yeah.
And I do need the help over there. I spend a lot of time over there.
And something you said is a lot of your projects over there require two people.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Almost everything.
Everything. Unfortunately, everything.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
it's, you know, you can't get by with two people, without two people, and then asking the detention officer, when they should be busy
Doing
taking
other-
care of things, to come and help me for 2 hours, that isn't feasible,
No,
so.
it's not in their job description.
No.
Yeah,
It's unfair to them.
right. And a
And
lot
it's
of
unfair to
times,
you
yeah,
as the
and
administrator.
like you said, it's, you know, they're not, we're so full right now, not that that's a bad thing, but we're so full right now that it is tough to take time, you know, to help out Mike, especially when we have a lot of different things going on, you know, whether it's court, whether it's whatever it is, you know. It's just it's nice when he has Jerry or whoever else there that knows what he's talking about, instead of trying to explain everything before they actually can work on the job of what he's looking for, where him and Jerry, you know, obviously work together and can accomplish a lot of things without a lot of instruction at the beginning, so it's just one of those things, so we can get with Debbie and figure that out, and I just see this as a win-win, so.
I do too. Yeah, absolutely.
This is probably a stupid question, but does Jerry want the insurance?
Well, I suppose. And I guess I didn't ever, I mean, I've talked to him about it, yes, I'm pretty sure he has the insurance.
I just had to ask him, because there's like 3 of us that don't take the insurance.
Well, he doesn't have any insurance.
And he wouldn't have a choice because that was a grandfather issue, so any
Right.
home
Oh, right.
employees
Yes,
regardless
that's
has to
correct.
take it, yeah.
Didn't think about that yet.
Yeah. So what I appreciate is you two working together on this, the partnership, I think that's
Oh, huge.
tremendous, yeah, it's tremendous leadership.
Well,
I think everybody else in the county can look to that and.
well,
as an
it's like you
example.
said, you know, I don't have if there's money, I'm not hoarding it, you know, I wanna be a help, I don't wanna, like I said, I do like coming over and talking with you guys, I just hate always having my hand out, you know, and if I can foresee anything, then it saves a lot of stress from your guys' perspective that, in a lot of the public, well, why is the detention center always asking for money, why is, you know, this way, you know, it's good business, you know, and I'm very grateful of what Mike's been able to do in our facility. Without him, we would be barking up the wrong tree like we've done for a lot of years, and now he's fixing the problems that the other people that we've hired in to do just didn't really fix. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
How old is that facility?
We opened it in 2005, so we're almost
Almost 10.
10 years. Yeah. So,
Well, it's just makes good sense that things would start to fall apart a little bit.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know, they would break down, I guess might be a better way to say
Right.
that, but in 10 years, yeah.
Some of it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
There's
Normal
a
wear
certain
and
amount
tear.
of normal fatigue that takes place.
And then nobody's done anything. They've always waited till things have completely gone haywire and just fix that one problem.
Yeah.
And then, but, yeah, I'm finding other things.
So, but no, I think this will be a good thing for all of us. It gets Mike the help he needs on a regular basis. And we're not paying any fines or penalties, so that's good. Good decision right there.
Absolutely.
So, but,
Well, and Jerry works well with Mike.
right,
I mean, the left hand knows what the right hand's doing, and they make a good team.
yep,
Mhm.
I agree.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Hey, we have a little bit of homework to do,
Sure.
and we're gonna have to open the door.
Oh, no, that's fine.
If he
I-
comes back and
you
and
bet.
causes problems, do you mind if I just push the button?
You bet.
All right.
Yep, and we'll know the reason why.
Exactly,
Just a
yeah.
quick question, Dick.
Yes, sir.
I followed the transportation van, and did some come in or some going out?
We had one going, actually, we lost two today. We would have been at 43, but we lost two today. So,
Now, the CC Transport, is that a new outfit? I don't remember.
they do, people
the
go to
prison?
Mask,
Oh, okay.
different places where inmates are going.
Mhm. I never saw one with the
Yeah.
writing on it.
Yep, they're a private agency that does a lot of transports for prisons and things like that.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
What is this certificate John was talking about?
He doesn't, he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no certificate. I have a certificate as an administrator. Post has different certificates. They have a basis certificate, they have different certificates, levels. And you have to have so many post credits in so much years as certain things, supervisors, administration, or whatever. So if he's talking about the administrative, I have that certificate.
Why don't you just tell that to him? And then, you know,
But
then maybe
there's
I'll-
no there's no law or anything that says we have to have a certificate.
Yeah.
It's not, and so I don't know what certificate he's even talking about. But if it's administrative, myself, we just got my administrative, because you have to have 2 years of administration before you're even eligible to have the certificate. So, to be honest with you, I don't know what certificate he's talking about.
That
We
would have to be
pass
good, I
all of
think.
our,
I
we've
don't
passed
think he
with
knows.
flying
Well, no,
colors.
You're right.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Right, but if you just say you got
You
a
Administrative
administrative certificate, I think that would,
Yeah.
I know he was
So-
up there a while ago,
It's a new tree he likes to climb.
trying to find out,
Something new.
you know, who had a certificate.
Yeah.
And,
He doesn't, I'm sorry, but
Joyce-
he
Joyce
doesn't
knows
know
what
what
he's
he's talking about. He just hears of something and he wants to, whatever.
yeah.
Stir the
So,
pot.
exactly.
Just
Uh,
tell him you've got
you
the
bet.
certificate. If you have to show up to him, I guess that maybe that'll, I don't know.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Have a nice day.
You too.
So yeah, we'll get, I don't know when Denny's.
Well, that's a good move. Having those guys work. I say that's a good move, those guys all working together. Ooh, feel like cold air now.
Yeah, no kidding, darn it. Just a couple of little quick things and some big things, I guess. We have some mail we didn't quite finish. This is a contract with Denning and Downing, and it is the post-employment benefits, OPEB, paperwork that needs to be done as part of the financial report, and they would like our support. Debbie and Doug would also like our support in having them help out with this.
And what is that again, please?
OPEB, it is other post-employment benefits. It's a calculation that needs to be done under penalty liability under the alternative measurement method as described in Governmental Accounting Standards Boards, GASB, Statement Number 45, Accounting and Financial Reporting by Employers for Post-Employment Benefits Other than Pensions. These procedures include calculating the OPEB liability and related footnote disclosures from census data prepared by you, the county, from the list of your assumptions. Both Debbie and Doug would like assistance on this.
I never heard of that before.
I haven't either. For small counties, under 25 participants, the fees for this service are $850. For medium-sized entities, 25 to 99 participants, our fees for these services will be $1,600.
I think he's with, Mike. They both walk down that way anyway.
So
Is that $850, is that a day, or what's that?
it's for the assistance, this is a package, it's part of a contract. And what this is assistance from Denning and Downey, who just did the audit for the county, for assistance with post-employment benefits, which is called OPEB. This is part of the year-end calculations that need to be made. The reason that Doug is asking for assistance is because he's never done this before. He is new to the clerk and recorder treasurer position. And the reason Debbie is asking for assistance is because so much of this has been put on her shoulders of late. So they would begin October.
So we're the medium one?
We are 25 to 99. Well, no, participants. We could be the smaller ones. So our motion, if we choose to utilize their services on behalf of Doug and Debbie, would be probably somewhere between $850 and $1,600. Participants very well could mean post-employment benefits. How many people have left and are eligible for post-employment benefits?
So is
from
that
last
within
year?
a year or?
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
So. if you wanna
I'll make
see
a
the
motion
paperwork.
then that we sign on with Denning, Downing and Associates to do this post-employment package.
Any second or comments or questions? This is not new, Franklin. This has been done for many, many years.
I got reservations on it. I'm not gonna second it.
Would you share your reservations, please, for the record? Or for our knowledge so that we can address that?
Well, I don't know, has it ever been done? You're saying it's been done. I assume it hasn't been done before.
Oh, why would that?
And the other thing is, they're doing an audit, how can they come in and do this kind of work? All they're doing is, how would you say, proving their own work.
No, that's not true on this. I mean, okay, like I left the state, I retired from the state, and I stayed with their insurance, and that's exactly what is, my understanding, that's what this is, wanting to know who's doing what. And do I get retirement from the state? Yes, I do. And it shows, there's a report, and it shows, okay, Elaine Gravely was here X number of years, whatever,
Right.
and I get the insurance, and here's my retirement. That's all that is putting all that together, so that they can, at a glance, they can look and see what their liability is.
But the state does that, right?
Well, for the state, but we need to do it for the county.
That's when Elaine worked for the state was
Yeah.
that entity. Now we're a county, and employees from the county need the same service.
I get the same thing that PERS through the fire department for years and that kind of stuff too, so.
Mhm.
But
And that's what it is, it's
but
just
it's,
it's not an application, it's just keeping track of what the county's liability is, really. What the PERS is, what is, who's doing Cobra insurance. I can't think of any more that would be in there. In the sheriff's office, they get police retirement, I'm not sure what it's called.
SRS.
Yeah,
No.
sheriff's retirement, and then there's also PPRS too.
okay. And that's what it is helping them gather up so that they understand.
I'm still skeptical.
This letter has been in our mail. Would you like to reread it? I don't know if you've read it prior to today, but you're more than welcome to read through it. It'll help in understanding.
It's no big deal, really. I mean,
Well,
it's something that needs to be done.
Hey, Debbie?
It's benefits other than
Debbie?
pensions. This doesn't include pensions. This is other than the pensions.
Hey,
Okay,
Tammy?
but there'd be Cobra
I don't
insurance.
have a, hello. I don't have a quick button for Doug. Is Debbie here today? Ah, okay. Would you please just run across the hall and ask Doug to come down here? Commissioner Solivka has some reservations about Denny and Downey helping with the OPEB. So we're hoping that maybe Doug can shed some light on why this would be important for the county. Would you ask him to come down? Okay. Thank you. Bye.
So it says excludes pensions,
It says, yes, is
but wouldn't it,
accounting and financial reporting by employers for post-employment benefits other than pensions.
yeah, but
But still
Cobra would still,
Cobra,
yeah,
yeah, if there's still the different standards that so many years of service get you, like with the deputies, there's a whole lot of things that I don't have a clue about. But just because we don't know about them doesn't mean they don't
Well, I
exist and aren't
Well,
an
and I
important
know-
issue.
We don't, but Doug's officer, they should be able to. If not, they'll have to have the training for it. I mean,
well, and that's what this does.
Exactly.
It gives them the
You have to
training.
understand, Doug's new. Doug took over for Rhonda. He has not been through this before.
And I'm not sure right now, but I know it used to be that we had some commissioners that were on Cobra insurance here.
We still do.
Okay.
I believe Commissioner Holm
Okay,
was on, at least he was when he first left.
well, and I know that Steve Donen, God rest his soul, I mean, he was on for a long time. I can't think of others right now, but that gives them the option, they have to pay the whole thing, but they can get it at a reduced rate because of a group plan.
The other thing that I think we need to keep in mind is, when you pay for education, training, assistance, in this case anywhere from $800 to $1,600, that is far less than you pay in penalties, interest, not doing things correctly. So, you know, it's a matter of, do you want to spend a little bit now on education or a lot bit later on fines? But isn't it our responsibility as leadership to aid them in learning how to do that?
Hi, Doug.
Hey Doug. Debbie's not here today. She is actually stuck in her house. She can't get out to the snowdrifts.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So,
Guess where our county boys are.
this is an offer from Denny and Downey. I understand it's something that you and she had talked about, potentially with Kim when she was here. And it's to help with the post-employment. It may just be payroll, but my understanding is you two had talked, maybe I'm wrong. Are there any blanks you can fill in? Commissioner Solivka isn't sure that we need any training of this sort when it comes to the budget.
Number one, it would be new to both of them.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I've never really, in our office, we've never worked with the budget. That just wasn't anything we worked on. That was always done in the finance office. This GASB report, the Governmental Accounting Standard Board, there's a report they ask for every year that, I've never had a thing to do with it.
Did Rhonda, she didn't either then? Rhonda didn't either.
No.
So in other words, the finance officer took care of all this all the time.
Yeah.
And that solidifies the need for some training.
Yeah, it's just something that was always done through the finance office. We never had anything to do with it, and I don't think it's anything that was ever shared with Debbie either. I think it was just something that,
And for transparency, of course, anything to do with the budget or finances should have at least two eyes on it.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, for, protection of the citizens.
Yeah.
Does the form go to the state?
This GASB report,
Yeah,
I know it's a report that the
What's that called again?
Denning and Downey, it's GASB. And it stands for Governmental Accounting Standards Board. They have a report each year that they ask for. Usually the only time I hear it is through Denning and Downing. Like I say, it's something that comes up every time there's an audit, and I've never had to deal with it. It was always on the finance side of it. They would send us a list of what they need. Natalie would do part of the list, and I would do part of the list. I had the bank accounts and the investments and things like that. And this was all, to my understanding, was all part of the,
well, and you see every now and then those GASB workshops, GASB 43 workshops, GASB with a different number workshops around the state, for a fee, of course, but
yeah.
you see those.
Yeah, they throw GASB out all the time. You're always hearing,
They're changing it constantly.
yeah. But most of the time, when I hear about it, it's about audit time, and they're asking for a GASB 36 or 43 or 45 or,
I remember a few years ago when I was clerk recorder, and GASB was not yet, but it was coming at them, and they knew it, that it was gonna be a big change in the accounting stuff. But that's been quite a few years back, to be honest.
yeah.
We were talking about a contract, I'm thinking it might have been a different contract with Denning and Downey, maybe the one for the audit. But regardless, this is something with them that I understand still needs to be done by our deadline, which is the end of February, per Department of Administration. If we don't get it done by then, we do pay the fines that we would have had to pay had we not gotten the extension. So that's another piece of this puzzle that needs to at least be thought about if we are not going to address it. They won't do anything to help us until we sign this contract. We won't be back meeting as a commission until the 18th of February. So I guess,
Sounds like time is of essence.
well, yeah, do we pay to train our employees, or do we wanna pay fines? I think those are our two questions.
I don't think it's a question. I
Well,
think it's a no-brainer.
I do too.
And I know Debbie's been hit with a lot of extra duties that, I think she's almost swamped. Well, the big complaint in the finance office was there was too much work, and now there's one less person, and most of it's going on Debbie's shoulders.
Yeah,
And I think she's doing a pretty commendable job, but
Well, it looks to me
I
like
can
that
see
once
her
you're
getting a
trained
little
on
stressed.
this, unless the government changes the standards again, you'd be home free to be able to do it.
Yeah, I would think so, but I know with my OPI reports, it seems like they're changing the way they do them every year. I've had 4 things come up in the last month with OPI that are being done different than they were last year. Bus reports and bus routes and driver qualifications, and things we used to just make a spreadsheet and send it into OPI. Now we're having to enter it all on the computer system, and just new stuff they're adding that, well, it's not really new stuff, it's just the way they do it. They just making the superintendent of schools more, I don't know if I would say more responsible, but more involved in what's coming in. I mean, it always comes in, you always get the bus routes, you always get the driver certificates, and they have to be then in order for the buses to keep operating. If they don't come in, they're not supposed to operate. And it used to be, we would just send them a spreadsheet, these are the ones that came in for this period of time. Now they want me to go in on their system and enter that all in, if their system works.
Right.
What is that again? It's governmental assistance?
Accounting.
Governmental accounting standards.
Board. What's the B for?
Board.
Board, oh, okay.
Okay,
It
well,
sounds to me like OPI is putting more and more on the superintendent of schools all the time.
They are, yeah, I would say if I get 50 emails a day, probably 35 to 40 of them are dealing with superintendent of schools.
Really?
I get a ton of emails for superintendent of schools. They're not all things I have to deal with. Some of them are junk emails that, people wanting to go to this conference, go to that conference, and but still, you still have to look at them and see if they're things that.
It's time consuming.
Mhm.
well, thank you very much, Doug. Appreciate you coming down. So, do you guys want to table this until the 18th of February or act on it today? It was requested that we provide this for Debbie, and I thought Doug, but just Debbie
I
at this
would be
point.
more than happy to go through it too.
Excellent, thank you for that. I do think it's beneficial to have more than one set of eyes on anything to do with county financing. So what is the pleasure of the board?
I think our questions have been answered.
So I get more information.
My motion still stands.
Okay, did you motion to approve?
I did.
All right, I'm gonna
Because,
second that.
time is of essence. If we wait until we're in the 18th, that's 10 days left of the month.
Yeah, we're probably paying this fee.
When was
plus
this
the
due? They
fine.
said there's already been an extension
Mhm.
For the audit?
for this report. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when was it due originally? How long's the extension been?
This came before the commission a couple months ago. The
Yeah.
audit, the year end is all due by December 31st. The commission sent a letter to the Department of Administration, who gave us, we asked for a 30-day extension, they gave us till the end of February, because of everything that's been happening, DOR, everything else. So we have until the end of February period.
I couldn't remember if it was November, December when it was originally, but
Yeah, I think it was November when we asked for it, but the deadline, maybe the deadline isn't, it's December, isn't it? It's December. Yeah,
okay.
because we used to have it done in early December. So that would make sense. But it could have been November, of course. But regardless, we do have an extension only through the end of February, at which time we get to pay a fine if we don't get our work done.
And then we still have to pay to get somebody to train us.
Exactly, so do we wanna pay this amount of money or double it, or more?
Well, I know if it's anything like my OPI reports, it's extremely hard to go to any other county that works the same as ours and get help, because in being a combined office, the only other counties in the state that are combined offices, you're talking about Missoula County, Lewis and Clark County. You know, you call them and you ask Paulette, how do you do your FP6B report for OPI? Oh, I don't do that, so-and-so does it. Let me give you her, so she'll transfer you to that person. And when you're talking to them, you say, okay, to do the FP6B, I need the FP9, the FP10, and the FP88. And how do you do those? Oh, I don't do those, so-and-so does those, let me transfer you to them. And you get 5 different people that do one job that we're doing here. And I don't know if this Gatsby is gonna be the same, but I would imagine if it runs from one department to the other, which I would imagine it's going to because it deals with the county. If you deal with Missoula or Lewis and Clark, you're gonna be dealing with 5 to 20 people doing the job that one person's doing here.
What did this Dunning and Associates do here last week? What were they working
And
on?
they were working on the year end, closing the year end.
Well, and I think we owe it to our employees to get all the training they can get, no matter what it is. Within reason, of course, but I think we owe that to the employees.
I know Debbie's taken on a lot of new jobs, and
She isn't
You
screaming
know,
Charlie
but
yet, is she?
yeah, but I mean, she's knows a lot about accounting, but when it comes to something like the Gatsby that they, you don't know about it until you're thrown into it, and
When was this year-end report supposed to have been in? Was
Well,
that
our-
December 30th?
No, I think
No,
your
the-
phrase is incorrect. It is supposed to be in the end of
No,
February.
I'm talking what they were doing here
I am
last
answering your
last week.
question, Franklin.
Yeah,
It was
that-
supposed to be in the end of February because we got an extension. For most counties, it is due the end of December. That was extended by and large because Department of Revenue recalculated our valuations and postponed our entire budgeting and collection of taxes by a month. That's why we got an extension through the end of February. That is when these are supposed to be due. Now, we have a motion on the floor that has been seconded. So been moved and seconded to go ahead and approve the contract for help with OPEB, OPEB. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Let the record show Franklin has opposed. Debbie,
Comes our
we
little
have,
Eskimo.
yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm lucky
Glad
I'm here.
you made it. We
I
just
took off too soon.
approved- We've just approved the OPEB,
Okay.
and it was a 2-1 vote.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if you could enlighten us as to why Denning and Downey would have proposed this, and why it is that you would think that it's important if you could.
Well, it's not that Denny and Downing, it's actually an accounting requirement, regardless if it's Denny and Downing or another CPA firm. It's to comply with the GASB 45, and it's financial reporting of other post-employment benefits. One of those for us being is our medical insurance. It's a post-employment because retirees, we offer it to retirees. It carries after you terminate your employment for a month, we pay premiums, so it's considered an other post-employment benefit. And the last time we did it, it's like a census that's required. It's like a census, and last time we had this done was in 2009. We paid for it then, it goes 3 years. It was up this year. So as part of our renewal and contracts, it was something that separate and above and beyond that, because it's a one-time thing. And it's either pay them or somebody else to do it. And so since we've had them as our CPA firms, we've got everything on file. It's something that Natalie always had me do because I take care of the health insurance. I have to gather insurance information of whether the employee is active or retired, male, female, their spouse, male, female. Are they Medicare eligible? Is it family coverage? I have to have their dates of birth. So it's a form that has to be filled out. No name, but I have to fill it in knowing who they are. We just don't report it with names, so it stays anonymous. But it's something that financial accounting requires, state reports require as a GASB 45, one of those numbers, like the GASB 34 for our financial, the bank statements, our investments. It's just part of the financial reporting requirements. So that's what it was. And she brought that to my attention when she was here helping us close our books out. That it expired and we needed to renew.
Thank you. I explained that very poorly, so thank you for coming down and filling in so many of the blanks that I had left. Thank you.
You want to kind of look at what it looks like, the information I have to fill out. This is the
You
form.
gonna let me look at that?
I'm gonna sign it first, Brenda.
Well, I don't
Would
care
you
if you sign
please?
it, why you sign it, there's something I want to get off of.
You will wait till I sign it and stop being so rude. You are a professional.
Go ahead and do your thing.
Thank you.
This was the attachment that came with the letter that I have to go through and re-verify, take off those that have retired or quit. But I'll have to re-pull all our medical records, not medical records, our insurance deduction, and reaffirm whose birthdays and spouses and it has changed, and without names, I have no idea who to verify what. I don't know if you wanna look at it.
I would, just to see how extensive it is. So this was done before in 2009, lasted 3 years,
Mhm.
expires, so this is the year that we
This will
have
be our
to.
first year, and it'll cover 13, 14, and 15.
Okay,
So we won't have to do it again for another 3 years.
so that one would have covered 10, 11, 12.
Mhm.
Okay,
So that's why it's
that helps.
Part of what we did last year, and we haven't done it, so it has to be done, part of our annual financial report,
Okay. All right.
so.
Well, I'm very glad that you were able to come down and get out of your snowdrifts and help explain what that
Well,
was.
Dad got the big old snow blower, and we got our driveway clear. I thought I'm gonna go. I'm antsy. Yeah, I got down our little subdivision road, and I probably was wishing I hadn't. It's a good thing I have 4-wheel drive because I just about didn't get here, and I would have been in trouble because Dad would have been mad because I didn't wait. Even my brother and my sister-in-law hadn't gone in yet. Nobody had gone into work yet, so I was kind of the foolish one. But
So how much snow do you have?
well, see, it blows at our house. So the drifts, it depends on where in the road, and they built the subdivision. I could have drifts up to here. And so in some of the spots where there's lows in the road and weeds, it's really deep. And with everybody coming in and out last night, and nobody to clear it, it's filled in even more and it's hard. I got home and I had to wait because my sister-in-law got stuck. So there was half the neighborhood helping dig her out. So yeah, I was, oh, sure, here when I get home. How stupid I was. But at least I didn't have to have them come dig me out. So
Yeah, the county boys up there plowing?
the county road's fine. It's just our
Oh, it's just
subdivision
within the
road.
subdivision.
And with the houses and people where they put their fence barns and poles for the fences and the houses and their trailers and all our stuff drifts in the road. And where our driveways meet, the Pizzinis put like an old plow, well it catches and it sits. So it's hard for both of us to get right through there. And
Might
making that
suggest they move it next summer.
right. It's just, and we're in a low spot, so I think that they talked about bringing in a couple trucks of dirt and building it up. But it's, the green stuff that's prohibited that, so we fight it. We thought we were gonna get lucky this year.
Wrong.
Wrong! So, I need it.
I'm glad.
Too much work to do to, it's making me nervous.
Well, thank you, both of you, thank you, you've been a fabulous team. Both done good work. All right, may I take this back? Give it to Ann for copies or no?
Yeah, and I'll be able to have you make a copy.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
All right, just a little bit more. As the one who will be directing the meeting on the resolution for the local government team, I would feel more comfortable personally if we went ahead and filled in some of these pieces that we left for the public hearings.
This is on which?
This is the local government review team.
Oh, okay.
With the hostility that we had this morning, that's showing no signs of abating. The anger, the hostility, the attacks are just more and more and more. I'm not gonna open the door to another. So what I would like to do is at least have some parameters set that can be discussed in the meeting. I'm not gonna go back over anything unless you guys have questions as to the history, but what we need to do is decide on the the resolution on the ballot will read, A, for the review of the government of Broadwater County and the establishment and funding not to exceed, insert a dollar amount or a mill amount, of a local government study commission consisting of, insert number of members, I think we're agreed to 3, to examine the government of Broadwater County and submit recommendations for the government on the government. Or B, against the review of the county of Broadwater County and the establishment of funding not to exceed, insert dollar or mill amount, of a local government study commission consisting of, insert number of members, members to examine the government of Broadwater County and submit recommendations on the government. Again, I did a little homework. I know we had talked about postponing this. This has to be done by March, the beginning of March. I believe
March
it's
10th.
March 10th. Thank you. Putting this off is irresponsible on our part. Not having some parameters set up and some discussion is irresponsible on our part. So,
It has to be due by the 10th to be on the primary ballot.
exactly, which means we have to have a public hearing. We have to put that off for a week, as we should. We don't have to have a vote. So,
I have one
Insert-
question. Franklin, was 3 members enough when you guys did it?
Yeah, I think 3 is fine. I'd go with that. The other part I'd go for is I think they should have mileage for coming in for the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe $400 or $500 for, if they have to do some research on some stuff.
I can agree to 3. I think that's a good idea. It seems to be what history has had since this was done in 72, 79, somewhere in there. In talking to ex-members of the Local Government Study Commission, and talking to Doug, the last time this was done 10 years ago, the amount was 1 mil. Do you want a study review commission? Do you want, or the cost for that will be 1 mil. If we are to honor the Constitution of the state of Montana, then my personal opinion is we need to fund this such that if a team of 3 people who are elected by the county decide that, we are tasked to evaluate our county government, come up with A, it's working perfect and there needs to be absolutely no change, or B, something can be changed because it isn't perfect, because nothing is. They need to have the ability to take that, whatever they find, and move forward with it. Otherwise, we are circumventing the Constitution of the state of Montana by hamstringing them from being able to do anything. I don't think it's fair to ask volunteers who are elected to this position to then pay out of their own pockets
No.
to see to fruition what they see as the needs that need to be addressed by the populace. So,
That's why I'd say allow $500 for use for some, whatever they have to do for some review, and that's it.
See, I don't think that's enough, Franklin, with today's world, because of the advertising the legal advertising they're gonna have to do. I mean, and we see those claims come through all the time, like to the Reporter or the Townsend Star or both.
Well, okay, what if we double go to 1,000?
Will that cover it, do you think?
Well, if you wanted to pay mileage and you wanted to do one mailing, no. It would cover one or the other. What if all three people live way out of town, on the extremes of the county?
That's
Then
true.
it might cover mileage. What if there are some legal ads that need to be covered? You know, it would cover those.
Actually, the county attorney's the one that should be able to give them most of the information they need.
That's absolutely not the case.
They have to go searching on their own, is my understanding.
The last study review commission met almost weekly, or excuse me, almost bi-weekly. They had to advertise all their meetings, I believe those were in the legals. They had a secretary, they had copies, they had no budget, they did it all out of their own pockets.
They shouldn't be expected to do that.
I don't believe they should either, and if they do, then we get the government that we ask for. We are asking people to put their names in, to run for a position, and then we're saying, this is what you're tasked for on behalf of our citizens, but we're not going to give you any money for it, it's totally on your own. I think that's reprehensible.
I think it should be a mill, with the understanding that whatever's left goes to the right back to the general fund. That we would expect that they wouldn't spend it all, but
A
it's
meal, you're
there.
talking 13,000.
Right.
That's absurd. I mean, I think 1,000.
But 500 is absurd, Franklin.
Okay, so I went to 1,000.
1,000 is absurd, Franklin.
Yeah, it's,
I guess, as commissioners, our job is not to collect taxes and hoard them, and not spend anything, and just sit on it like it's a big green mountain. Our job as commissioners is to honor the citizens of this county, to honor the Constitution of the state of Montana and the provisions put forth to us that we swear to in an oath. When it is tasked to us to put forth to the citizens a study review commission of their local government, not ours, their local government, we are acting absolutely contrary to everything we swore an oath to uphold when we say something as irresponsible as, we're just gonna hoard the money, we're not even gonna give them the chance to have an honest review of their government.
well, and you're gonna have to pay a secretary.
We never had a secretary.
The
But
last
that
one
was the,
did.
back,
Madam Chairman?
yeah.
Yes.
May I offer an
Please.
observation?
Please.
We are talking, putting an amount in to get it out for a public review. You are not making a decision on how much. You are putting an amount in there so that it will be available for the public to discuss.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you very much for that. This is a starting point.
Mhm.
Insert dollar amount or mill amount. How about instead of a mill, which we don't know what that is, how about focusing on being honest and forthright with our citizens, how about an even number to start of $10,000?
And they won't use it all.
But it's less than a mill, and a mill is what was proposed last year, or 10 years ago, last time. Yeah.
And how much did they use last time?
They had it, last time they had it in 2 different votes. Do you want a study review commission? Yes. Do you want to fund it with 1 mill? No. So, they had a study review commission with no money, no budget. They did go to the commission, who gave them a very small stipend, but it wasn't enough to cover anything, and the 3 people involved put a lot of money out of their own pockets.
No, we shouldn't expect them to do that.
No, and I also think that it's unfair to the citizens that they had to go to the commission and ask for anything. Granted, it was a very small amount, but it still shouldn't have been something where they go and ask for PILT funds or general funds. It should be something where the citizens have a solid voice and determine, I want an honest review, or I don't.
And in today's world, we can't expect a secretary to work for nothing.
No, no, the trust board,
Pardon me.
we board, they're paying, you know, a couple $100 a month, minimum, 4 or 5, depending on the board. I think that's something to keep in mind. I don't know what the tax appeal board secretary makes.
I don't either.
1 mil might just look cleaner. On here, most, you know, when you do the votes, for the weed, when they went out for 5 mils, when law enforcement went out, I think it was for 10, I just saw the resolution today. Road department went out for 5 mils a couple years ago. Those were in mils, so maybe 1 mil is in keeping with consistent practice to start a
Or even-
discussion.
How about 1/2 of a mil?
That
That
would
should be
work
more
too.
than ample, I would think.
Sure, 0.5 mils.
Mhm.
Yeah, you wanna start there? Does that sound reasonable? It'd probably be $7,000-8,000.
Mhm. What's your thoughts, Franklin?
I still think it's too much myself.
I'd rather have it available and not use it and have it come back to us.
Well, you know what's gonna happen, if it's available, this
Well, no.
bureaucracy, it's just to be a bureaucracy, it'll just go, you know.
Mm.
That's,
That doesn't show a tremendous amount of faith for our citizens. I think that's an awful comment to make about the people of this county.
I think 1/2 a mil because I believe that they would not use it if they didn't need it. And that they would be spending it willy-nilly.
Yeah, and I believe it's up to the citizens to elect people who would indeed do that.
Mhm.
And we have a good number of citizens that would, that
Mhm.
are very responsible, good, fiscally minded people. So, are we in agreement to start with 0.5 mils and 3 people?
Also move.
All right. Are you going to take part in this vote, Franklin? Or,
I agree on the three person.
okay, the motion, do you want it
Separate motions.
separate motions? Okay. Would you like your first motion then just to be on the people,
Yep, that'll be
team of
fine.
3? Will you second that, Franklin?
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we insert number of members to 3. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And for the, a mil amount,
1/2.
all right. Will you second that, Franklin?
Oh, like I said, I'm sure,
Is that a no?
yeah.
All right, I will second. It's been moved and seconded to insert 0.5 mils, to start the discussion for public comments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Franklin opposes. Motion carries. So I will take this to Doug, and we will have that for the citizens, to put their opinions on.
And then are they on the
Public
general
comment.
election? They have to file. And then, pardon me, then are they on the ballot? The people running on the ballot in November?
Is that right?
I can't remember. This goes on the primary.
And then the next part,
I
I
think
think,
it's-
goes on the
I-
general.
I-
Yeah, I think it's on
I
the
believe it is on the general,
general,
and
yeah.
then I think they have until, the election, the 16 election for any changes they might come up with to
I think that would make sense.
So a 2-year process. Well, here's a, March 10th is the deadline. Primary election, citizens vote on whether or not they want to conduct local government review, June 3rd. No later than June 17th. Results are canvassed, and that's when the candidate filing starts. July 2 is the deadline. Excuse me,
That doesn't make sense to put it on the November ballot, those dates.
actually, the November 2nd is just to get it to the Secretary of State, so I was misspeaking there. August 11th is the last day for local government review candidates to file.
When is the election then?
November 4th, election of study commission is the general election.
Why that much in advance?
I don't know,
It should be 75 days before the election.
don't know, unless that was changed also, MCA section, maybe they changed it, when they changed this.
Could be.
Determine new dates so there's more time, maybe to make it more serious, something that people would put a bit more time and thought into.
I don't know.
That's just guesses,
It just seems strange to me that,
yeah.
and maybe if I sat down with the calendar and counted backwards, maybe it is 75 days, I don't know. Pardon me.
August might
Yeah,
be,
probably would be just about.
I think
But
it
what
might
is
be.
August what?
August 11th?
It might be.
August 11th, I bet it is 75 days.
I retract what I said. With egg on my face. I knew the 75 was correct.
All right, just a couple more quick things. Commissioner's budget. We have, the heating for the ambulance building has been coming out of, I don't know if you have your budget with you, Franklin, I have a sheet here, I'll share with you in just a second. That is not our budget, but, we do have the heat that's been coming out of the ambulance building. That was supposed to be a temporary move with the plans that have been put in place of looking at either the Perry building or another building for extension and dealing with some of the issues with the courthouse and overcrowding. We did not budget for that. That was kind of we'll just pay it out of here for now. We are at a point where we no longer have any money in this line item, to continue paying that.
Is
So.
that in utilities?
It is, yeah, Commissioner Utilities. So, what do you guys think? We do have a little bit still left in the contingency fund. Debbie did do some calculations and has about 13,000 that needs to come out of there. I think she said there's about 8,000 left. Do we wanna go ahead and use that for the time being? Or, do we want to look at an infusion of PILT or, just pay it from PILT at this point?
What's it been running on monthly?
January was really high because the heating system was broken, but that one was 1307. I'm not sure what the,
Anywhere.
which, it was still winter though, wasn't warm enough when the heating system broke. I don't know that I have an average, I think it's been about 1,800, somewhere in there, give or take. 13 is awfully high for what it's been. So.
I'd hate to think what it's gonna be this month.
Yeah, although they did get it fixed. They had space heaters going in there. The January bill, of course, would have reflected some December.
Space heaters will eat up electricity
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yes. And even though it was a warm month, it was still winter, so it was 80 degrees. So, do you wanna table this till the 18th to think on it? And just pay this at this time from the contingency fund, which is still in the commissioner's budget? Or do you want to address it, now with some other options?
What was that line item there that Debbie had in there?
It's the contingency fund and she's paying the Ampera out of that. And that is to do with payroll. I'm not sure what Ampera stands for.
Why we're not taking out the payroll then?
Oh, no, we can't. Payroll is for payroll period.
But you said payroll, I am here when you said that.
Ampera, that is something to do with payroll. Debbie is using a line item to pay that, but that is not a line item for payroll. You can't pay electric out of payroll though. That's one of the big to-dos, not to
I don't think
do.
so either.
Would we be better off paying it out of PILT and
If-
leave that line item that Debbie's using for payroll if she needs it?
We could certainly do that.
I hate using PILT money, but
What's in that contingency fund there?
Roughly about 8,000. There's $25,000 left there, but Debbie has put a note here that says, or Tammy, I'm not sure whose writing it is, that she will need that line item for Impera. Was an email that she sent during the budget season that said that she was going to be needing about 13 and thought there was about 8 left. That was actually the money that we used to pay the search and rescue repair of Bob Mazzola's road. Was out of that leftover money. That's when she sent the email.
As much as I hate to, I think I would make a motion that we take it out of PIL just to be safe.
Okay, do you want that for just this bill, or do you want to do an infusion for the rest of the year at this point?
No.
I'd say do it bill by bill.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay,
I'd go, I agree with you. I hate to see it come out of there too.
I hate to, but I don't know that there's any choice.
and maybe through until the next bill, we can do some brainstorming and find some other options.
And by next bill, we'll see maybe, I mean, because if it's gonna be high, this is the month it's gonna be high
Yeah,
with the
Yeah.
cold weather
absolutely.
and that'll give us a better idea what we're facing hopefully.
Okay. All right, and should we leave this for now and just see if we can transfer some of this on down after Debbie's
Mhm.
done with Impera? Okay, so, it's been moved, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the extension heating bill, power bill of 1307.25 from PILT. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
What does Impera stand for?
I don't know, Montana, Public Employees Retirement, I'm guessing. I don't
No,
know.
that's PERS.
That would be PERS. I have no idea. No idea. I can find out and email it. Oh, you don't have email yet?
No, my computer's sicker than sick.
Oh, that's frustrating.
And I can't believe how many times a day I go and get on the computer to do something or look something up or whatever. You know, and I've got the ranch books are there, the truck company books are there, my own personal account is there.
Oh, your hands are tied?
Oh. And there it sits beeping at me.
Okay, two more quick things, and then we can go. This is a letter, bid request from Dana to get gravel. He wants to put it in the paper. I just wanted to make sure that the commission had a chance to look at it so that it is a threesome, for everything we do.
That the crushing.
Mm-hmm. Franklin,
We don't have to have a vote, but I would like it as a matter of public, record that
We
we have
discussed
seen it
and went
and
along with
agreed to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Under discussion, we approve it.
Mhm.
All right, I will let him know that. And then the last thing is our newspaper of record issue. I have an email to Harold and Mike on this. Trudy has started charging for legals for the agenda as well as for other legal ads. She's not the newspaper on record yet, so I'm not sure that it's okay for us to pay these. So I'm going to just let you guys know at this point what my question is. If you guys have more information, I'm certainly open to it.
Let's see what Harold and Mike say,
Okay,
because she said she's a month short, I believe is what she said yesterday, for being able to be the newspaper of record, where the Star's been that for a long time.
Probably forever.
Yeah, and a day. Yeah.
Are they completely out now, the Star? I don't know, the other day she
I
said
don't
about,
know.
somebody said further notice.
Right.
That's the official that went out,
Oh.
not publishing until further notice.
Which could mean tomorrow or 10 years from now.
right.
So was this duplicated in both papers then?
No.
No,
Because the
she's-
Star wasn't publishing. It wasn't
Right.
there.
right. She's been running our agendas and legals as a courtesy, and she said no charge. These came in as charges But until she is the newspaper on record, it seems to me that we are opposed, we're not in compliance with MCA if we're paying for something that she's not authorized to be doing. So, we need to find out if it's indeed okay to be paying these bills. Let her know that, you know, if it's unlawful for her to be charging us. she
Yeah, it's
needs to
kind
know
of
that.
catch-22 if we don't.
It is, if it's.
Because it wasn't published, the other paper didn't publish,
Mm.
and if we pay her, cause she hasn't, been there, the newspaper record, I guess say, I think it'd be on the safe side, be to pay her, that was well, of course it was published, so,
There's been quite a bit of research that has been done by Ann and Doug on this.
we're not talking about much money, are we?
I don't think it's the amount that's important, Franklin, it's whether the county can legally pay those if they're not the paper of record. I think that's the question right now, is whether the county is legally obligated to pay that.
You know, when you talk to Harold and Mike, I would sure like to have it in writing.
Yeah, and I'll forward the email to you.
Maybe by then I'll be up and running, who knows?
Yeah, and that's the route to go, I guess, to have them, but it's kind of a catch-22, isn't it?
It is, and it's caused some problems, not just for the county, but for some law firms and stuff that need to advertise, so it's something that needs to be addressed, but right now, I think it's the legal question, but it's not the amount of
No.
the bill.
No,
No.
it's not.
But I don't want to send an email to Trudy as Laura Obert. I would like to address this as the Broadwater County Commission and let her know what our issues, what our questions are, and explain to her why these are not being paid at this time. And that's why I'm bringing it forth to the commission. This is a commission issue, not an individual issue. Some of the other questions that I think you guys need to be aware of that have come up is, do we use a neighboring county's newspaper? Because it's a newspaper of record close to us. That, it looks like 7-1-2121 alludes to that. Or are we okay just posting in 3 public places? We certainly are for our meetings, but are we for legals? And that's where the other question comes up. We have the legal requirement with the mill, or the vote. So those are the things that we need to find out, and if we do need to use another newspaper, we need to get that done so that we can comply with the March 10th
But
deadline.
I'm not really in favor of going to a different town for a newspaper. Our people won't see it.
Unless we're required to by law, we may not have a choice.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to figure out.
But if we're within a month of it being,
But it's still, there's a few things need to be taken care of within that interim time, Franklin, that can't wait until.
oh, I
and-
see,
and- Yeah,
I see what you mean.
we're not talking a long time, but we still, we need legal answers on this
Yeah,
before we
you're
do
right, let's get wherever they come from, they come from Mako or the county attorney or whatever, that's where we go on then.
Well, undoubtedly Harold and Mike have had to face this before.
Mm.
Yeah,
So I would prefer they be the ones to say, you can do this, or you have to do this, whatever, and send us something in writing.
Have it in writing, that's right.
the email was sent to Harold, Mike Saystad, Carol Knight, and Carla. So, between the 4 of them, we should hear back something, I think, very shortly. So, I will send a email on behalf of the commission to Trudy on this issue unless there's opposition.
No, we're doing what we legally have to.
Okay. Are you in agreement,
Yeah.
Franklin? Thank you. All right.
100%.
One other thing, here are the
Now, you said
leases.
that a minute
Yeah.
ago.
I know. I told you I'd get you copies of the leases from John Walsh yesterday, and here they are. We have this on the agenda, but I'm wondering, Elaine, since you are the most knowledgeable on the rodeo and fair, would you follow up with Julie on what John said on the, insurance
Mhm.
for those rodeo buildings? I went to dinner with some friends last night, and one of them who was in the audience yesterday said, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "There's no way that an attorney would be okay with the county land holding non-county buildings that have no insurance. Because who's liable if there's a fire, a huge fire out there? The county for everything, as well as any liability, any lawsuits fall on the county. So we need some clarification on that before we sign this.
Okay.
So if you would.
And if nothing else, we may have to carry the insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, of course, I was on the board when this was a big thing on 5 years or 10 years. And I personally feel that 5 years is okay. And not 10, because things come up. And, do I think that we wouldn't renew it? No, I don't think that at all. I just wanna be sure that we've got wiggle room.
Yeah, yeah, and especially if there is an insurance question.
Mhm.
It gives us an opportunity to maybe try something out if we have to, or, readdress that.
Mhm. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in my thinking, but, you know,
And it might be a question too for the fair board, if they have an opinion on the insurance.
mhm. Is today's the 4th, Fair Board's meeting tonight.
Oh, are they?
I think so. Isn't this the 4th?
It is? Yeah.
I say carefully, I think that they're meeting tonight.
Okay, well, unless there's anything else, we will adjourn this meeting. Any more discussion on leases or anything?
No.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks
Frank,
all.
when I had said that on the terms of the lease, that I wasn't real comfortable with the 10-year.
I'm not either.
Oh, good. Because that came up last time, whatever it's been, 2 or 3 years ago. And there was quite a discussion, and this board felt like 5 years was fine, plenty. We weren't going with
You know,
10.
Yeah, I was almost wondering, it should be less than that. You don't think so, for like 2 years, you don't, or 3?
I think we tie their hands too tight.
Oh, okay.
I think so too.
5, I think, but, I just think 5 is a better number.
Yeah,
Things-
well,
Things are going very well right now in
Yes.
the two quarters. but
Right
they-
now.
They weren't 5 years ago.
No,
It
they
was-
weren't.
It was nasty 5 years ago.
I mean, one would say black and the other one would say white. They'd say white and the other would say black.
but even 5 years, is- to me, is, why would it tie their hands if it was a 3-year one?
Well,
What,
because of trying to get, you know, say that they're gonna bring in,
oh, you mentioned about the, music or?
right, and having to be able to know that they're working towards that. For 5 years, they'll give them that.
I would, and the type of entertainment we'd get here, I wouldn't think it,
Well, it cost them almost 20 grand last time to bring somebody in, so they're gonna have to get on it right away and get that money donated, whatever, and store it up.
It gives, I guess it gives them planning time, frankly, which
Yeah.
a 2 or 3 year kind of restricts them. I think 5 is a good compromise, because I believe the old term was 10 years, and it was long,
Have you went
long
through
10
this
years.
anyway?
No, I have not. And I want time to go through it.
Yeah, you're kind of the expert on this, for that.
I don't know about that, but, and I have a daughter that serves on the fair board, so I may have her take a look at it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ann.